Hello everyone, my name is Jake. Now before I get into this, a few things to start out the video. One, make sure you go down to the description right now before the video starts and vote on the poll to get me a new channel name. We're going to need the answer before September 10th, so if you guys can, go ahead down there. Do you want me to keep the current channel name I have, or should I change it to something more furry related? Or should I change it completely back to where I had it in the beginning? You guys can tell me down in the description right now. Be a great help. Also, another thing, sometime very soon in the future on one of my visual novel playlists, if you guys watch the visual novels, you will keep your eye out on one of them because I am going to be doing a giveaway. I'll make it obvious in the thumbnail, or the title. It would be like hashtag giveaway or something. But you guys can watch the videos, look around, keep an eye on the channel so you guys can enter that giveaway. Trust me, it's going to be something really cool. A lot of people who follow the channel will like it. And I feel like you guys would be pretty entertained. So if you hear that clicking, that's this thing. Sorry. But let's go ahead and just get right into this video. Now, time to get into the topic of today's, I don't know what I'll title this yet. A story time or just a normal video. I'm not sure how I'll title it. I think I'll just title it a story time for now because it's, well, it's me talking and there's game playing. So, yeah. The topic I was thinking about making this video on was something I was thinking for quite a while, but I never really did it because I'm a lazy douchebag. But now I'm typing a script in the middle of the night, so it can't be that bad, hopefully. Also, I did get part of my ideas from a fellow YouTuber who's obviously much better than myself. I mean, have you seen my content? His name is Glitch. He's a furry YouTuber. He's pretty cool. I'd recommend checking him out. I do use a few of his clips and his arguments mentioned, or his clips will be used in some of his arguments will be mentioned in this video. So if you want to know who he is, make sure to go check the links in the description. In the guest stars tab, he will be the first one, I believe, in the guest stars tab. And you guys can go check him out. He's pretty fun and pretty cool person. I definitely recommend go checking him out. And let's get right into the video. Oh, I forgot to say the title of the video. Well, you guys can read it, but you know what? Let's just say it because I know a lot of people are going to be clickbaited into this. So, here is the title of the video, if you're blind or something. Why the furry fandom is hated. Now, this title might imply that I hate the furry fandom. I don't. Just want to say that now. If it doesn't make any sense, there's a fox in the thumbnail. Wait, maybe that's not. Well, how about my YouTube icon, my YouTube profile icon? That should make it obvious enough. The reason I wanted to make this video, besides the stuff I said earlier that I'm lazy and Glitch is cool, is also I'm making a sequel to my first video on furry hate called Why So Much Furry Hate. You can go check that video in the description as well. It will be in, I don't know where that will be yet. I'll find a place to put it, but make sure to go check that out as well because that is a good video and you will understand more in this video, where this video is now the sequel, where basically in the first one when I questioned it, this video is me finding in like an order of how and why the fandom is hated in a few simple points, nothing too drastic or hard to understand. So before I get into those points, however, one more clarification that I am not saying anything in this video is bad in itself. I'm just telling the people in the community that the possibilities that why furries are being hated are for these reasons. Now, I'm not going to mention all the reasons. I only have 3 points. But again, almost anything we could do could be hated on. But these 3 are the ones I always hear from my friends at school why my community is hated and why that's what all they see from the furry community that's like expressed. That's all that they can see that is expressed outwardly outside of, or out into the outsides of the fandom, right? So it gets really weird, but just know that I don't think any of these things are bad. I might think they're weird, but they're not bad, per se. Well, some of them are bad. You can watch Glitch's video for the bad ones that I'm not going to mention. But, whatever. We're 5 minutes into the video. I mean, I'm going to make it to 10 minutes. So let's go ahead and get out of this monologue bullcrap at the beginning. And just know I'm not trying to offend anyone when we go into this. And let's go right into point number 1. Which, if you can't realize, all my points are going to be on the screen in big, bold, capital letters like this. So don't be surprised. So, if you don't know what a mersuiter is, I'm just going to allow Glitch, the first clip I'm going to steal from him, I'm just going to allow Glitch to explain that in this clip right here.
1-800 text RP. Would you like to RP with us? Oh, we're two cuties and one of us is actually kind of a mersuiter. It's kind of huff.
So, yeah, YouTube, if you, like an admin of YouTube comes across this, please don't ban me. that was on his video. If you're gonna ban anyone, ban him. It's his content. No, I'm kidding. Don't ban Glitch. But, seriously. Anyways, forget what I just said. Anyways, though, a mersuiter is a person who has a fursuit, right? That is intended or that can be made, as use, or made to use as a sexual, like, device that they wear. So weird, right? Now, for those people who don't understand what I just said, a better way to describe it is, for you non-furries out there, imagine a mascot costume, like, you know, for your sports teams at high school or something, or even college, and imagine they have, like, zippers, down by the crotch in rear areas that can be opened up, okay? All right, yeah, all right. That are then, those open spots are then used for sexual activities. Yeah. It's pretty weird, right? Okay, yeah, okay. Now, wait. Before I don't know. I don't think Majira does that. I don't think I know any mersuiters. For any mersuiters out there, you want to become a mersuiter. I'm just a sophomore. I obviously would never approve of something like this in my life. However, there are people that like them. I understand that, all right? But what the people that like the people who are mersuiters don't understand, or they might understand, but most of them don't understand, is being a mersuiter, how they are portraying the furry fandom. For example, if there were normal fursuiters around the furry fandom, it'd be pretty weird, right? Just normal fursuiters, people who just come in mascot costumes. Let's say that's all that exists. It would be weird, but most people who are nice and respectable people would understand, and yes, it's weird, but it's what they like, so you can't really judge them for it. Oh well, it's something they want to do, right? Moving on. However, because mersuiters exist, the furry fandom is being hated on and joked as, they all dress up as dogs having sex with other animals or people. Yeah, that just imagine that. All right, let's compare fursuiters normal versus mersuiters. It gets pretty weird, and that imagery, right? That imagery is something people do not want to begin to dive into or want to begin to understand in any sense of the word. So in this case, right? In this case that we are in real life, furries are not seen how they mostly are, which is normal fursuiters, but instead for the outward expressive mersuiters, we are instead seen as a community filled with people who dress up in mascot uniforms having sex. So, I'm 16. Yeah, that I'm not gonna get a job. Anyways, though, I am just gonna say that again. Don't take offense to me saying this is weird. If it's your opinion, if you like it or not. Don't let a 16-year-old on the internet otherwise change your thoughts. However, this is why furries are portrayed in this way online, in online media and in news articles and such, because the way that mersuiters express themselves is a bit much, right? It's a, yeah. It's weird, and of course being expressive is fine. It's 100% fine. I'm not saying it's bad. But just know that when you see another furry hate comment, and you're like, man, these guys don't understand what a furry is, and you're a mersuiter, you kind of understand now, or why people might hate or be disturbed by us. So, yeah. Let's move on to point 2 already. Jesus. Now, let's be honest. Let's say a new video game comes out you really like, for example, in my books, Pokemon. And they make, let's say for me, a cute Pokemon that you love and you would love to use on your team or later in the future as like a competitive group. Something that you can look forward to, and because you like the design of it, it's something that you are interested in and you would definitely use over and over again as a character, right? This is art, right? This is the type of art I'm talking about, at least. This is how I define art, or the type of art that furries make, for example. For most art in the fandom, furries are identified as, like, outside sources identify furry art like this. Now, as you can see, there's nothing on my screen because I don't want to get banned from YouTube for the picture I'd have to post. Here's a better example I can show. Now, even though it's cut out a bit, it's blurred, it's censored, however I did it in the future me, ha ha ha, thanks me. Even though it's blurred out, it is definitely a not safe for work. It is definitely NSFW, or for non-anagram users, not safe for work, which means basically it's content for 16 plus, or in most cases 18 plus, respectively. Now, the reason for why furries are portrayed like this is because if you look up Furry Fandom, you actually just get a bunch of fursuits on Google. So, how is this relevant to... It's not. Can we have a better search? Yeah. I did some searches a little bit. I Discord a bit, and I decided to find a way to scale the safe for work content and the not safe for work content of furry art. To see which is more common, I did so in 2 ways. The first being a Google comparison. I searched furry art SFW and got a solid and reasonable 2 million results. That's fair play, right? That's a fairly solid amount, and 2 million is quite a lot. However, if we search furry art NSFW compared to furry art SFW, we get the 1-letter difference of N being added in. The amount I expected was about maybe 6 or 7 million, but nah. Furry Fandom, that's a joke. That's a joke for the Furry Fandom. You see, because that search had almost 11 million results. Almost 6 times the amount of results SFW had. And of course, there's going to be a few 100,000 news reports on it. But the number is still an unthinkable or undigestible amount of furry art. That is NSFW. But hey, let's be honest. Google searches aren't always fair due to the internet being catastrophically large. So let's make it easier. I decided to call a few friends to get their quotes on the amount of furry art they have seen and how much of it is NSW. So we basically asking them a few questions and stuff. You'll see when we get to it. The links of them will be in the description if they want me to paste them. Some of them don't want me to, so if there are missing links, don't take it as I made a mess up. They don't want them to be listed. So, just so you know. So let's go ahead and get into the first question, and I'll play the clips right after I ask the question. So for the first question, which do you think has more quantity over the internet in terms of furry art? Would you say there's more NSFW or SFW?
Probably safe for work. The only reason I say that, because obviously the furry fandom is flooded with not safe for work art, etc, and it's safe for work and then uses it to commission 40 pieces of porn. Actually, no, it's probably not safe for work. I don't even know what I'm talking about. It's almost definitely porn. Come on.
The first one is very high on the scale. If we're talking like most seen, most made, yeah, I'd still put that very high.
That's tough to gauge because a lot of the venues that people spread. Both the not safe for work art and the safe for work art tend to be in like one or two places. And if I was just to go based off of the popularity of the platforms, I would say that Tumblr is bigger than Furry Amino. Therefore, I would say that the sexual stuff is probably more popular, but not everyone's willing to draw that. So I'd say probably the safer work stuff is probably more populous. There's more of that. It's just not as known for.
I asked both inside and outside the fandom. I asked 3 outside the fandom and 4 inside the fandom. The results came in this order: NSFW, 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 SFW, NSFW, NSFW. Just for reference, these are not in a particular order of who I asked. Now, as you see, though, as our results say, there are a lot more that do think there is more NSFW art of furries on the internet than there is SFW art, so it's kind of known in the furry community and outside the furry community in both senses. But to make sure we got the solid results we need, I asked a second question with the same people. I asked, which of the 2 types do you see more in furry-related art when you're browsing the internet?
Yeah, I have a lot of friends, and when I show them furry art, they are like, "Oh my god, that's so nasty! Why are you drawing that?" And I'm like, "What the fuck is wrong with it? It's just a animal with cute ears and stuff." And then they show me a site full of furries, and I'm like, "Shit."
Well, you might want to cut this out. I can acknowledge that there's much more than there is normal thing.
But more of what I've seen is furry art.
And regular safe for work content, but I usually see a lot of NSFW.
The answers that they give follow like this: NSFW, NSFW, SFW, 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 NSFW, NSFW. Now, in the second one, it's closer to being tied. Of course, I use 7 to make it so it's not a tie purposely. But for you viewers, you can take this any way you want it to be. Maybe they're lying, maybe they're not sure. Who knows? But from what we see, or what I see, for example, it does seem like NSFW furry art is the most commonly seen and known in and outside the fandom. This is why this reason is probably why we're hated, because NSFW art is not a normal thing that people use. So even though I like it sometimes, not really. It's weird. It's kind of weird. But sometimes it's alright. It's respectable. I can see why people like it. But in other times, it's odd. It's very throwing off, even to people who are in the fandom. It just throws them off completely, and it's weird. Even though we are a fandom that's based on artists, and amazing artists to say that, but those artists don't get to show their creative values, because either A, they're wasting it on sexualized animals, or B, they are being covered up by people making sexualized animals on the internet, which is more commonly associated to furries, with the sheer quantity NSFW art online, according to our 2 sources that we just took from Google to the NSFW/SFW questionnaire. So, again, I'm just going to clarify that it is okay if you want to draw sexualized animals. This is just another reason why furries are hated upon by the internet. So, let's go ahead to the final point of this video. Now, as you can see, we are on the final point of the 3 points on why furries are hated, or in this case, could be hated by the non-furry population. I cannot speak today. But the last thing is something that, where if you've basically ever played video games, or even, well, not any video game, if you ever played a single-player video game with, like, a story, you have done this, right? Now, a lot of people are going to think, but wait, what? Now, furries, a few furries out there I know, might know what I'm about to say. Because literally, Any single player game that has a plot of a story, you have done this in, right? And everyone's asking, what's this game? Was it what you want to know? What this game is? That what you ask? Well, have you ever heard of something called an RPG? Do you know what that stands for? It's an anagram for role-playing games. Take games out of that anagram and you get RP, role-playing. But wait, hold up. This is the internet I'm talking to. What is role-playing? Well, it is where you take a role and act it out in some sense of that role. Like picturing yourself as an actor in a movie. That would be role-playing. You'd play the role of who you're acting as. Another example is if you play Pokemon or Mario. Let's say you're playing Pokemon. You're playing the role of a Pokemon trainer in the game. If you're playing Mario, you're playing the role of an Italian plumber who rides Yoshis and fights dragons. This role-playing thing may be the third reason that the furry fandom is looked at as weird. Because frankly, it is very weird when you think about it. Now, before furry people look at me and they're like, Jacob, you're a furry. Shut up. You're dumb. No one likes your content, and role-playing's cool. Well, besides hurting my already non-existent self-esteem, hold up before you go and just explode the comments. Because I know that like 99 point infinite freaking nines, so 99.9 infinitely % of this community is gonna come over and blow up my house. Chill, because I do this as well, alright? I'm admitting it's weird, because I do it, alright? Everyone is a furry probably did it at one point. Now, I know what I'm talking about, okay? I know how RP works, but this is not the RP I'm talking about. This isn't friendly, nice, everyday Spider-Man RP, okay? Let me show some Glitch. You know Glitch, the guy I made this video for. Glitch, right here, this guy, yeah. Let him explain briefly. He explained briefly in his video. Didn't share too much on it, but this is like an example of the type of weird furry RP I'm talking about. Glitch, take it away.
Like, don't go, you know, fucking boops your snoot and sucks your dick. I mean, sure, I mean, I would love a good dick sucking, but,
Now, what he is showing in this clip is the majority of furries understanding what roleplay is. I mean, literally, we just saw that he gets those messages daily. Daily. That is freaking weird, okay? And it's not even on his account. I mean, let's say, I'm not the most popular furry, alright? I'm not popular at all on any site. However, I do get 3 to 4 people daily in the furry community who want to take me on a honeymoon and marry me. I'm just going to let that sit for a minute. And then I think, but why? You don't even know me. In RP. I'm sorry, what? Can someone explain? I don't even want to begin. Because that's just weird. However, let's get back to the main point. The point of the role-playing. Like, forget me and Glitch for a second. Role-playing plays a very specific role, you see what I did there? In the furry hate community. Now, I'm gonna have to disclosure, yes, I'm bad at puns. Please don't spam my comments with hate. RJ, hold the phone. I know you're gonna type. I know you're gonna stop. Then you're gonna listen to this part. And then you're still gonna type the comments, so go ahead. I don't care. Whatever. It's not funny, okay? I need those 1 or 2 people who like puns. Alright, I need those people on my channel. I need subscribers, okay? Can you chill out? No? Oh, well. Anyways, like I was saying, the role it plays may be more advanced than you would, or I would think. It could be implied in multiple ways to the outside that role-playing is in our community. However, I'm going to have one. Since there are so many different possibilities, I'm going to pick the one that I have seen the most and understood the most, alright? This one is the fear of what is known, right? You've always heard the fear of what is unknown, but this is the fear of what is known, but indirectly to an extent. Here's what I mean. this is almost subconsciously like a thing that happens for people who aren't a furry when they talk to a furry, okay? For example, ever since I became a furry, I started using things in text such as ooh-woo, ooh-whoa, and this crying face, right? I've used this in many other types of faces I got when I chat to non-furries. But I got those from furries. I learned them from furries, and a lot of people who are furries constantly use them. Most of my friends who aren't furries are not used to seeing something like this. And yes, many people who are non-furries do use these. However, I learned and became subconscious to them as using them that they now identify it as a furry thing to do, right? So, when they see this, they don't think these messages or these faces are cool enough because they're obsessed with emojis, or they just straight up don't like it, because there are people like that. And I'm in the furry fandom, which no one else around me is. So when I started using them after I joined, they no longer want to join because they are scared of knowing that they might turn into that, or they might subconsciously start doing that, and they don't want to do that. They may have other reasons, like furries are stupid sometimes, which we are, but this is one of those reasons that you don't really think of, but it's still a reason to an extent, because I know a lot of my friends hate it when I actually send them like an ooh-woo or a ooh or an oh-whoa or an ooh-woo, because they think it's weird, right? It's weird sometimes, because let's be honest, this probably isn't a massive factor of why people hate furries, but it is a factor to an extent. Now, I'm going to explain how these are in this, right? How these lead to hate. So, since they don't want to be a furry because they are prone to this, they might start disliking furries because they don't approve or like these faces. This slowly could start leading to hating or booing on the furry community, starting with a dislikable taste. Because if you have one taste for something, so let's say I hate mac and cheese. If I eat more mac and cheese, I'm going to hate it more, right?
Just so everyone knows, I don't have mac and cheese.
But like that makes sense, right? You eat one thing, you don't like it, and if you keep eating it, you're still not going to like it. You're going to hate it more and more. That's why, possibly, when I talk to some of my friends who are now hating furries, they don't hate me, but they hate furries in general, they do it because they've seen me act like one for so much and so long that they don't want to become that, and then over time they hate me. And they hate the furry fandom. Now, let me... I said a lot there, so let me squinch it down to a sentence. To make it simple, us furries use chat signs that others don't like, that we learned in the furry fandom. And since they don't want to use them, they don't want to join the furry fandom, this can lead to disliking and hating the furry fandom every time they see this, right? It's actually fairly simple. Now, this isn't the biggest reason, or it could be the biggest reason, who knows? You can take this all into account yourself, which you think is the biggest and which is the smallest reasons, and that was my last point. Now, after watching this video, you can tell me down below any reasons you might think furries are hated on the internet. Maybe I missed something that you think is obvious and I didn't think was obvious. Or maybe you'll just fill the comments with memes like all my other freaking videos. Anyways, though, my name was Jake. Have a nice day. Goodbye.